everybody? Welcome to Wellness Week Live. It's me, DJ Anthony. You see, I have a DJ voice, ladies and gentlemen. Watch. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have emergency in the cockpit. We're out of coffee. Right, dude, coffee. And I always say the end of the world can come. Not a problem. Just not before I have coffee. If I don't have the coffee, I'm not going to do well with end of the world.
I'm not a coffee drinker.
No, I know you were saying. All right. You tea, right? You do tea?
Yeah.
Okay, so Steph, it's Mommy Mondays. Thank you again for taking the time out. This is Mommy Mondays where we discuss matters of family and friends, and we get a mother's perspective, a woman's perspective. And so today's topics are pretty kind of heavy or good topics to talk about, and that is, let me give you all the rundown here. So 3 things that stress you out in life. Yeah, we all have that, right? 2 things that you are grateful for today. When to see a therapist. If and I think we all need to see therapists in some shape, form, fashion, or way, whether they be a therapist, a doctor, a rabbi, a priest, whoever, and how to manage loneliness. Jesus, Mary. Okay, so let's get into. Let's start off on a positive note. What are 2 things that you are grateful for today? You say one, I say one. You say one, I say one. What's one thing you're grateful for today? Aside from family and friends, the usual stuff. But
yes, yeah, because you had said, that those are givens.
That's the easy lift, right? You can say, I have my family. Everybody says
that. So today, one of the things that I was grateful for is I have way too much stuff, like physical stuff. So I've been purging.
Okay.
And the Vietnam Vets has an organization. They come to your house, they pick it up, they take it away. So today I got rid of like 8 bags of stuff that I don't need anymore. And it just makes me feel so light.
Yes.
Bye. See you later, Felicia. Bye-bye.
Yeah. You're right. And I 100%. Okay, interesting. Okay, so for me, the first thing is I say for me, I'd be grateful for my dog. I take him for granted. He's a little runt, but I'm like, you know what? The 2 or 3% of positivity he gives in my life is a very heavy 2 or 3%. So I'm very grateful for him. Okay, what's your second one?
My second one is text messaging.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. I had a situation over the weekend where a friend reached out to me, and I was pretty sure this person wasn't in a good space, like a good headspace.
Right.
But I wasn't in the best headspace myself. So I was like, if we get on the phone and we talk to each other, I'm just going to bring this person down. They're probably going to bring me down. It's not the best situation.
Right.
So I just texted and I said, listen, and I don't normally, I'm a phone person.
Yeah.
But I said, I'm having a rough weekend. I said, are you okay? And so they kind of got to vent a little bit. I listened, asked a few questions. And then, ended on a positive. Like I always try to end on a good note. But it was nice to be able to do that. And, we respected each other, obviously. But it was nice to not have to be able to get on the phone because that would have been longer.
Right.
Maybe more emotional for me, whatever. Right. So I was grateful for technology.
Yeah, as much as we like to crap on text, texting, but texting can be a very useful tool, right? And actually, you know what might have been good too, that person heard maybe some of your hardship this weekend too, because I find when I'm in a bad mood or having a bad problem, and I hear someone else also having their own bad problem, that kind of you feel better. It's like I'm not alone, So it would have been better that you were having your hard time too, versus you're just everything's great. That can make someone sometimes even feel worse. Like she's doing great, everyone's doing great but me. So there's nice commisery there almost, and not again. We don't wish that on anybody, but all right. So,
yeah.
Okay. My other thing would be going out to kind of along the lines of friendship and stuff, going out to dinner this week with a few different friends on different days, just going out to catch up, and I'm grateful for that, to get out of the house and to just break some bread with some old friends and stuff like that. So that's my thing. All right. So we covered that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it's important. And I think it's good. I think I want viewers to hear us say it because I think sometimes, we all forget, hey, there's things to be grateful for, that are the little things in life, So that's why I always, and I'll keep on bringing this up through other shows too. So other people can think, yeah, what am I grateful for? Like viewers, put it down on the comment sections. What are the small things you're grateful for aside from family and friends? And it really matters. So I want to know. So the other thing, okay, so now the other topic was 3 things that stress you out. So, for me, the first thing was, which is kind of ironic because it was also one of the things that helps me, but now it also hurts me, is my dog. My dog stresses me out because it's like having a perpetual 2-year-old in the house. You're always worried about, oh, is he, what is he throwing? He's throwing up over there. What's he doing? Is he jumping on the table? This and that. So Rocky, my dog, a Shih Tzu, stresses me out. As much as he blesses me, he stresses me, and I'm sure he probably thinks the same of me. So, okay, what is one thing that stresses you out?
Motherhood definitely stresses me out every single day, for sure.
And nobody stresses like a mother. I'm sorry, but as a father myself, there's no bond. I don't care how good a husband or dad is, and there are men out there that have died and will die for their kids. There is no connection like a mother to a child. There's just none, because mothers carry us. Mothers give birth to us. Right there, no man could ever know that bond. So yeah, when you say stressed, I'm sure a mother's stress is only another mother would know. So stressing out over raising your child.
Yeah. And sometimes it's good stress too.
Right.
But it's still stress.
Right.
So, there's always that constant, you're always constantly thinking about, your kid, and are they okay? Are they doing okay? Are you doing okay by them? All of that stuff. And I could be having a fantastic day, but at some point in the day, I'm gonna think about that and wonder, am I doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stressful. So motherhood.
Right. Yeah. I don't even know, like, yeah, and that's why Mother's Day is bigger than Father's Day. It really is. I mean, it's
As it well should be. Sorry,
100%.
guys.
As great as dads are,
And they are.
but mothers, yeah. I mean, yeah, for me, the other stress I would have would be, which is not as big as the mother thing, but as you know, I am a professional DJ, and it says it right there. Look, DJ. Yeah. I mean, people don't realize, kind of off the subject, but I have DJ'd. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of. I mean, I was just doing the math. I've been in business 29 years. I'm like, my God. I mean, so yeah. Anyways, okay. It's a lot of parties. So, and I'm still going. So for me, the reason I bring that up is I don't like being in crowds. When I'm in a crowd, that stresses me out. I like being above the crowd DJing, but I don't like being in the crowd at a mall, at a restaurant, at a store. I love crowds as long as I'm entertaining the crowd, but I don't like to be in the crowd. I don't like that. That stresses me out. Especially modern time where now it's like everything, you can just go on Amazon this or FaceTime a friend. Like I think I'm getting so desensitized or so overly sensitized maybe to crowds. And I'm an outgoing person. Okay. What about you? The second thing.
So for me, it's they're all M's. So the second thing is marriage stresses me out.
Well,
Big time.
you and what, 100 and something million people, right? Yeah.
I think every married couple has their stress.
100%. Yeah, even if you have an amazing, perfect marriage, there's stress in a marriage somehow, some way, whether it's ancillary or direct or.
Yeah.
Okay, so marriage stress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, marriage. That's a big one, man. I think, yeah, whether you're married or living with somebody, which is a marriage. I mean, yeah, marriage stress is. We forget when we're single or you're a teenager or maybe if somebody's widowed and you're older or whatever, it's like you are dealing with somebody else who has their own ideas, their own, and it's human, right? It's easy for us to, and even for myself, I see like it's much easier to be successful with inanimate objects or situations. Like, oh, I'm amazing at business and I'm amazing as maybe even as a CEO or a coach where everyone has to placate to you. But when you're in a marriage, now you're not the CEO, you're not the head coach, you're not this person that can manipulate or sculpt a piece of marble. If you're literally right now, you're dealing with somebody who's your equal that you have to listen to
Yeah.
or work with, and that's hard. Like and you see that a lot. Very successful people are not successful in love or marriage because it's a different type of muscle, so to speak. And you have to, men and women. It's yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're really going down the rabbit hole here, but um, it's worth saying. I mean, because every human is in some kind of relationship at some point in their life, whether it be formal marriage or living together or whatever, or dating. And yeah, I think, but marriage, like live together stuff. Yeah, I think, I don't know what the answer is, but I think we as a society don't take it as serious as we should. We date for a year or so, or 2 years, which is never really 2 years or 3 years because you only see each other on the weekends. So that doesn't equal a year. And
Exactly.
then we watch too many movies, and we yeah it's a I think there should be some law, like if you want to be married seriously, you need to prove that you've been together for at least 5 years, because it's not really 5 years. It comes down to probably 8 months when
When
space.
you break down the days.
No,
Yeah.
really, honestly, right?
True.
Because you're going to go from that dating for 5 years to now you're in it every single minute of every single day together. That's a whole different thing.
It
That's
is.
like, training for war and actually landing on the beaches of World War II D-Day. Two different things. You can train all you want. Honestly, right? And then
I
just
like how you likened marriage to war.
right. Well, or whatever, right? Whatever it is. No, honestly, dating is like practice compared to being. And by the way, it might be better than you ever thought too. I don't want to disparage it because it's not fair, but like I said, even it's a different thing.
Yeah, it is.
I know. And again, it's nothing against anyone. It's just it's a different situation than dating or yeah, and then of course kids get involved, and it's yeah. So my point is, there should be, in some churches and religious institutions do this. I know the Catholic Church does like pre-Cana, which is, in my opinion, it's better than nothing, but it's a very feeble attempt. It's like, it's a day or two of courses, which again, kudos to the church, they're trying, but yeah, it should be taken a lot more serious, and because also it's the only institution that is forever, what I
Right.
mean? You can get
Right.
divorced, whatever, but it's
That's not the goal, though, when you get married, right? Divorce is not the goal. The goal is
nobody gets
to,
married to get divorced. No one, obviously, but it
yeah,
happens, right? But my thing is, maybe it's unrealistic because everything else in life is transient to some extent, or like has a set period of time. Like, hey, I used to work at this company for 30 years. Now I'm retiring. That's okay. Oh, I used to be friends with that person. We're not friends anymore. That's okay. But
right.
divorce, no, 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 no. You are married for life. And I think in a way,
Yes.
that's beautiful if you can, but maybe we're being a little unreasonable about it because everything else in life comes and goes: friendships, relationships, work, which is all types of marriage. But marriage to the end for eternity, it's like, like I think that worked to death do you part. And I'm not being facetious here, I'm being very serious. That worked for thousands of years because the average human only lived to about 25 or 30 years old. You got
Yeah.
married at
Correct. At
15.
15.
You're right. You farmed. You had to have a lot of kids because and because of the farm and that type of lifestyle. And you died at 30, or 40. And yeah. Some people lived to 120 back in the 1800s or the 14.
Very few and far between.
Right, but the average life expectancy, you were taking a dirt nap at 40. Like, so right, yeah,
Sure.
no, if you weren't
We
a
were,
there
we're long gone at this point.
right. No, honestly, now the average life expectancy of an American is 78 years old. You get married at 25 or 30, I mean, it's different than your, great, 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 great grandfather, or even your great grandfather, who that average life expectancy was like, 40s. So, yeah, I think a lot of it. So my point is, it has to be taken a whole lot more serious now because you are signing up life, for life. And I think, it's, yeah, I mean, I think all of us need
Yeah.
to.
And again, the stress is sometimes it's good stress too. It's good stress, it's bad stress, and it's not even stress necessarily that you have with each other, but if I'm stressing about something else that's going on in my life, that becomes his stress too. If he's
Right.
stressed out about things that are going on in his life, his job, his friendships, things like that, as a byproduct, that becomes my stress
Well,
too.
you're one unit, right? And that's the
Yeah.
other thing. We're expected to do the most important thing in one's life ever, right? Marriage, and you're gonna have a kid. I mean, the most important thing a human can do, and you get zero training. You want to be a chemist, 4 years of college. You want to be an accountant, 4 years of college. You want to fight for our country, 4 years of military. Whatever. You want to be a kindergarten teacher, 4 years of college. You want to get married? Yeah, sure. You're 18, 19, 20, you're an adult. We dated for a few months. We dated for a year. It wasn't really a year. It wasn't really 2 years. We started.
Or I just met him yesterday.
What's that?
Or I just met him yesterday. We hit it off.
Right. The law.
Doesn't matter.
Anything. Right. You can get churches, synagogues, mosques. Yeah, we dated. Yeah, fill out a few paperwork. Do a few prayers, and boom, hey, you're married. And then I want to have a kid. The most important job a freaking human being will ever do. Zero training, zero prerequisites. Your training is, hey, my parents, they raised me, I raised you. And all of us are guilty. Everyone, me included. It's like, wow. Like,
there's so law,
you want to have kids, you gotta go through some training, like how to shit. And I think all of us need to be in therapy as families too, because these are serious friggin' jobs. Marriage and raising children, it is the most serious thing anyone at any time on earth will do.
Hence why they're my stressors.
No, I know. But we don't get training, right? And we don't want training. Or we're embarrassed to go see. And again, I am all guilty of this too. It's like all of us, and it's just, what kind of training are we going on? What our parents taught us, which might have been good, it might have been bad. I don't know. Who knows?
I had terrible training.
Right. And they didn't have training.
Terrible training.
And they didn't have training. But to be a taxi driver, you have to go through training. To anything you want, like seriously, you want to make, listen, I have my catering license to do the catering for my entertainment company now. I had to go through training. I had to pay money and go through training before even, you had to take a test. Like, no test, you want to have kids, nothing. You get a marriage license, but what training did you do? You want to get a driver's license, you have to take lessons.
Yes, paper and practical, yeah.
Children, and I would say even more important to children. Listen, you want to mess up your life in marriage, fine. But children, like, there has to be some kind of ongoing registration, like, hey, did you get recertified as a parent? And if you don't, you get penalized somehow or something. Like, it's, and again, it's not, I'm not commentating only on America. I'm commentating on every country on earth. I don't know that anyone takes it that serious. You know what I mean? It's very romantic. Just, marriage and children. They're, and again, we're all guilty, man. It needs to be, I don't know where the hell we went on this, but.
You asked me for the stressors. I'm giving them.
Man. Listen, I know too. I've been there, and and we've all been children of parents, and again, a lot of great parents out there, a lot of average parents out there, a lot of crappy parents out there, and we all could do better. But what recourse do we have? And God forbid, you do the adult thing. Hey, I think we should all go as a family to therapy. You can't even say the therapy word, because most men will be like, is he going crazy? I'll just drink my life to death, and I'll watch porn and gamble, and watch that's your therapy. It's like,
thank God I'm not married to that guy, but yes,
no, but guess what? A lot of us are married to that guy or girl, because what does that guy or girl do? They bury their head in binge watching. They bury their head in beer. They bury their head in, video games. We just did the segment before with the life coach, that they were saying single men and women right now, Scientific America, a very prestigious magazine, did a whole expose on and a study on single men and women are having less intimacy and less sex than ever before in human history. Why? They gave the reasons: social media, video gaming, and binge watching. Done. Like, that's happening. And why is it happening? And even for married people, because that's our therapy. We don't want to really address problems. So how we address it is, I'll just play some more video games. I'll just drink more. I'll gamble more. Gambling now. I mean, on the phone. So it's like I can gamble.
Well,
I can do.
and those are all escapes, right? Those are all escapes
Well, that's
from,
what I'm saying.
yeah,
That is Advil for a brain tumor. We don't want to address the real problem. Go to talk to your priest, your rabbi, your imam, your life coach, whatever you want to call it, your therapist. But nobody wants to do that, or very few men want to do that because it's embarrassing. It admits you have a problem. Yeah, we all have a problem. So it's easier just to be like, I'll just drink and watch TV for 5 hours. I'll watch the game. I'm watching the game. Hey, I'm watching the game. All right. But meanwhile, you're not addressing your problem. I'm not addressing my problem. Anyways, so I don't know.
yeah. You asked, I'm telling you.
Well, that's why I wanted to start this channel too, because if anybody hears this, honestly, like men and women, like at least they can maybe glean something from it. And by the way, there's a lot of great resources on the Wellness Week YouTube channel for therapy, for help in your relationships, for nutritional help, for suicide prevention. So it doesn't have to be something extreme, but check out the our YouTube channel here, because there's a lot of great links that you can go to, and one of them is, I think it's called Talkify, which I'm a big fan of. And to be quite honest, I haven't used it, but I've gone to therapy before, but not through Talkify, and I'm just looking it up here. I think it's Talkify. I just want to make sure I got this right. So I encourage everybody to let's see. It's called Find My Therapist. It's a link, and you go to Find My Therapist on the BetterHelp. Excuse me, it's called BetterHelp.com. Anyways, but you don't have to leave your house. We all need help. I need help. You need help, but it's a shame, because I think many women and a lot of men. Again, I'll play video games for 10 hours, or I'll binge watch, and it's wink, wink. It's okay because it's socially acceptable, but it's not okay. And we're going to talk about that in our next thing here. When to find when should you see therapy? When should someone seek therapy? So let's move on to that question. Did I have anything else that stressed me out? My health, by the way, was the last thing. I worry about my health. I'm like an old man. I'm like, oh, am I dying? Meanwhile, like there's nothing wrong with me, but I'm always dying of a new disease every day. So. Okay, that was my third stressor. All right, so again, I should see a therapist because I'm a head case. So all right, so the other thing we're going to talk about, So Anthony, DJ Anthony, here's the diagnosis. What is it, doctor? You're an a-hole. What? That's my therapy. That's my diagnosis. I'm an a-hole.
You don't need a doctor for that. We're friends. I can tell you that myself.
I love calling my friends. I love calling my friends. A-hole. I live for those moments. Like I'm just like, bro, you are the biggest piece of, and they love it. They love it. They love when I.
Well, it's the delivery.
Right. They know I love them, and I love it too when they say I'm the biggest piece of crap. I'm like, I love it. I love it. You love me. You love me. All right. So, but that's a guy thing, maybe. I don't know. All right. So, when to see a therapist? Since a good segue. So, what's funny, and I've kind of just touched on it, and you and I through this conversation is, we only want to see a therapist when we're about to die. When everything's done, the marriage is over, or the friendship is over, or we're about to commit suicide, God forbid, right? Then we want to go see that therapist. And better late than never, I would say. But why not see a therapist even when things are good? And I have some friends, I will say, some men who see therapists all the time, every week, and they don't have any problems. You know what I mean? But they see it as it's the same thing as going to the gym. And kudos to them. It's very motivational for me to see that when they do that, because I'm like, you know what? I feel vindicated, and I feel empowered that I'm also going to go see some therapists or a therapist in the near future. And I don't really have any real problems per se, but it's just good upkeep. It's good hygiene. It's good mind hygiene, good mental hygiene, But again, in America, particularly America, we only see it as, oh, you're crazy. You're sitting. No, stop with that crap. It's why would I go get massage therapy? I sore back, whatever. That's acceptable, but I can't get mind therapy, So grow up, everybody. And so I think that's when you should see a therapist, when everything is fine. Go get into that. Get into that. And by the way, a therapist could be the priest, could be the rabbi, the imam, the coach. It could be. I've gone to therapy with my pastor. And we didn't call it therapy. I was like, hey, Pastor Dave, can I come talk to you? Let's go to lunch, and that was my therapy.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, Absolutely, if you're in a time of crisis, go see a
Well, of course, yeah,
therapist.
but
You
yeah,
know, that goes without saying, I think. I would hope anyway.
yeah,
Um, but I think the right time to go see a therapist is now, you know, if you're watching or if you're, you know, it's maintenance, right? It's maintenance. It's just everybody needs somebody to talk to.
yeah.
And a lot of times the people that we talk to, they're invested in us, they're not objective, right? So sometimes you're not getting the best
Right.
advice
They're gonna say you're
or the
right no
best
matter what.
direction. Yeah, right. And especially, I mean, you know, to your credit, Anthony, you're a male, you have a great support system and you've got a lot of friends and you are open to talking about your feelings and things like that. Most men are not that way
And I
in
used
my
to be that guy.
experience.
I used to be the guy that shut up until my 30s, so.
Yeah, women, you know, we are, I think, nurtured to be talkers and helpers and things like that. So, under normal circumstances, I think. So, for us to reach out to our friends and say we have problems, that's not uncommon. We can talk about that stuff till we're blue in the face.
Yeah.
Call our mothers, call our aunts, call our grandparents, call our friends, and we talk about our stuff. A lot of men don't.
Nope.
I think it's starting to change
Slowly. Yeah.
with you know the younger generations, but there's still a lot more work that needs to be done. So to have somebody, you know, in your toolbox that you can go to and say, "Hey, I've got some things that I want to talk about." Not only is it healthy for you, but it's healthy for the people around you.
Oh, it's a domino effect.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when you're having a bad time and you know, obviously if you internalize it, you start to take it out on the people around you. Now when you have that therapist or that objective person that you can talk to or bounce things off of, it's like a pressure valve is released. And now I think once you do that, you'll see the relationships around you start to pick up and get better as well. So, you know, if you can do it, do it.
Right, and it's not about money because you're gonna have these fatalists and these naysayers that are they want to lose sometimes, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. But I get the money. Okay, again, you have the latest phone, you got a huge television, you're going on vacation, you're drinking with the boys, you got 19 pair of sneakers, you got money for therapy. It ain't that expensive, guy. Trust me, I know I've been there. And by the way, there's a lot of free therapy out there. If you want it, you'll find it. So but if you don't want to get therapy, don't get therapy. It's on you. But it's a shame because you're going to hurt a lot of other people that you could be helping too. And
you mentioned some free resources. You mentioned
there's
priests and imams and
your synagogue, your community center, if you're not religious, whatever, go online. I mean, it's there, folks. I mean, and so yeah. Okay, so I'm glad we're in agreement. When you should see a therapist would be when things are good. Why wait till the damn house is burning? Like so. But so what about this one as it pertains to times of crises and hurt and pain? Is the next topic loneliness. Oh, it's a tough one. And I was just talking about this to the other guest prior that it's no surprise that the suicide rates are climbing and correlating and paralleling the loneliness rates. That's not by chance. As much as we're connected, it's a lot of it's superficial connection, not actually face to face. I see you. You're across the table. I can give you a hug, shake your hand. Those things are going away. And it's more, yeah, everyone's connected. Yeah, you're connected, but not in a real way, not in a tactile hug. There's so much power in a handshake. I can see you face to face. This stuff is okay. It's not bad to text and call and FaceTime. That's good. But, we're more and more lonely. So what can we do to manage loneliness? And as I said to you before, the old saying is true. Some of the loneliest times are when you are in a room full of people.
yeah.
So it doesn't have to be when you are physically alone per se, although that could happen. But so I said, well, what are some of the things that I do? What some tips I could give people that are struggling with loneliness? Because we all have been lonely or going to be lonely, or everyone experiences that to some extent, whether it's a half hour of loneliness, an hour of loneliness, a week of loneliness, a year of loneliness. We're all going to have, you could be married and be lonely. You could be single and be lonely. So what are some of the things? So I'll share some things and you let me know what are some of your secrets. The first thing is I say you have to get onto a program you make for yourself, a schedule, if you will. So like, okay, like I was feeling really lonely last week, particular day, and I knew I was like, you know what, I gotta get a piece of paper out and write down, okay, 10 a.m. I'm going out to Starbucks for coffee. 11 a.m. I'm reading my book for a half hour. Like I had to get a program because if I just go through the day like, it's gonna be bad. I'm gonna be very, very. It's gonna be struggling for me. Like I had to make some kind of schedule just for myself. Like uh, 15 minutes, go out, walk the dog, whatever, little things, go meet my friend Ed for lunch, So that's the first tip I would give people is get yourself on a program. If it's not for the day, for the week or whatever it is, write it down. You don't have to follow it exactly, but have something to look forward to, have a program. What would you say, Steph? What do you do in times of loneliness to help mitigate your loneliness?
I mean, I have a lot of tools that I use when I'm feeling lonely. Um, Sometimes I just like to accept the loneliness and I just like to embrace it. You know, Today I'm not having a good day, and you know what? I know tomorrow's going to be better. Yesterday was pretty good, but today I'm feeling lonely and it sucks. So I'm just kind of going to kind of hole up today, and I'm just going to kind of take care of me.
That's funny you mentioned that because I was going to say that too. Is embrace there's a phrase called embrace the suck, embrace it because right it will pass. Don't run away from it either. Sometimes right because it can be a lot of growth in loneliness. Thinking of different things and exploring different situations in your own mind to reestablish or give things a second look. So yeah, loneliness, accepting it can be a good thing, but I would say not for too long though. I mean, if you're feeling lonely
No,
for a
no,
month,
no.
like hey buddy.
No, I mean, you can do it for a day, you can do it for a weekend, but for me, not much longer than that. Um, I love to go out driving in my car,
Yeah, I do that too, especially when
you
the
know,
weather's nice and stuff.
yeah, put the music on by myself,
Yeah.
my music, my thoughts,
I like that too.
my freedom,
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good
and
one.
I like to do that.
Okay, driving, another good one. Yep, go out for a drive. And that's a big one for me too. I love, especially like in the warmer months. I have windows down, cranking my music, whatever. Okay, the other thing I would say is reading, like not articles, not texting, but reading a book. Go get a book, and you don't have to read 10 pages a minute, even if you read a page a day. But I found, and by the way, I was never a reader up until like my 30s. So now I was like, wow, reading it's really powerful. Like it could take you away,
Yes.
And when I put the book down, I'm like, oh my God, I'm still in my living room. Like that reading is pick something you like. It's not high school anymore. Go get a book you like. It's very easy. And I would preferably a book, but whatever. If you want to read off of your tablet, that's fine too. So reading for me. What's another one for you?
Reading is also one of mine. Journaling is another one. I love to write. And when I journal, you know, I write about the things that bother me, but when I always end up writing three things that I'm grateful for and three things that I'm looking forward to.
Right. Wow.
So however, I'll vent when I write, and sometimes it's 5 pages long, but I always end it on a positive note. I always wrap it up that way.
Right. By the way, we're at the 32-minute mark, so if we have to go, I want to respect your time. Otherwise, I just want to flesh out the rest of the thoughts. But
Yep, I'm okay.
so cool. Yeah, so I always want to respect your time, Steph. I know you're a busy lady, Steph. Okay. So yeah, thank you. By the way, so when you journal, I'm assuming you keep your journals forever, correct? Like you have them somewhere
Yeah.
or no? Okay, yeah, I didn't know because okay. Yeah, I've only journaled once, and that was in 2018. No, sorry, 2008, which is essentially a diary. And boy, I didn't realize how important that was going to be. That I look back now and I'm like, I'm glad I wrote down my thoughts for every single day of that year because a lot happened that year. A lot of good things happened. A lot of sad things happened, like the passing of my grandmother at that time, who co-raised me. A lot of stuff, but I'm like, wow, what a powerful year that was. And I didn't realize it as I was writing it. A lot of it was just normal. So I went to McDonald's today or whatever, and but who I was with when I was, just like, wow, I'm glad I took the time to write that stuff down, and it
Yeah,
is.
and it doesn't even have to be huge paragraphs. It could be lists, it could be words,
Yeah.
whatever, just wherever speaks to you. So
You know what I did too, which I don't do really now, but I did on and off throughout the past, couple of years or decade. I would go to lunch or dinner or whatever, you get a receipt, and I would use that receipt as the diary for that moment. I would say today was a beautiful day. I was with this and this.
Aw.
Yeah, I was with this and this person. We talked about this, and I have some of those receipts in my photo album, and I didn't know. I was like, oh, I almost started crying because I was like, certain people I was with that I'm no longer in my life and whatever, and I'm just like, oh, geez, like
Aw.
I was like, good on you, Anthony. Like I was very proud of myself that I had that, I guess, foresight to just write down, so it was a whole little diary on many of these receipts over the years,
I
and not a
like
lot,
that.
but but it's a snapshot, I was at this place and the receipt has all that stuff, the time, the date, location, what.
Yeah,
So I was like,
I
oh,
like
cool.
that. Yeah, that's actually a really nice thing.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it could be gifts for people in the future, like it's something unique. And I just love to do that. But anyways, um, yeah, so journaling, which my next one is mindfulness, kind of what you just said, being mindful of, hey, I'm grateful for this day and I'm the air, taking a deep breath, and just like, being in that moment. Mindfulness, I think, helps with loneliness too. Just again, nothing's a silver bullet, but just to have that moment, like, yeah, so what's another one for you?
And then I mean, one of the other things too is, and I don't think, we can't stress this enough, right? Just to reach out to somebody. So reach out to a friend, reach out to a parent, somebody that you trust, that you can talk to, that you can kind of be yourself with. And, you don't have to talk about your problems, just
Right.
talk,
Could be what, talking
you know,
sports or cooking or whatever. Yeah.
but just make a connection.
Yeah, which is funny because that's what I'm doing tonight. Haven't seen a friend of mine in a while. We're just gonna go out for dinner, something cheap. And but you gotta make that effort, right? You gotta and I think sometimes we just fall into a lull where it's just like, it's just easier to say, whatever. So yeah, friends, right? Reaching out. And it doesn't have to be your best friend ever. It could just be an acquaintance, whatever.
Yeah,
And which leads me to my next one, volunteering. If you're lonely and you're feeling lonely, a good way, and it's almost a silver bullet, volunteer your time at your local community center, church, synagogue, mosque, library. And I know with COVID, sometimes, we're all afraid that time we go out. Well, there's a great website that I use. It's called Catch a Fire. And you can volunteer over the phone for organizations all over the country. You pick the organization you want to work for, you put your time slot in, and you help over the phone. And over the phone, what you would do is you can talk about whatever your talents are. So if you're good at marketing or advertising or law or writing, or you're good with photography, you're going to give advice to organizations that are looking for that help. So it's catchafire.com. And I volunteered countless hours just on the phone. I was talking to Oklahoma and San Francisco and Miami. It could be anything that these organizations, could be local libraries, could be whatever, I don't know, automotive centers that are retraining people, whatever it is, but it's really, really cool. So Catch a Fire. And so that's a great way to beat loneliness and beat depression, is be of service to others. And the irony
I
is you're really
agree.
helping yourself, So yeah. And what's another one for you before we wrap up?
Um, I would say volunteer work too. I do that a lot.
Yeah, you do. Yep.
Yeah, most of my time is spent, most of my free time anyway, is spent doing volunteer work. And it's, they say it's a thankless job. It's not thankless.
No, you get so much out
Nothing.
of it, even if no one's saying thank you verbally. You
Yeah.
feel good. You're contributing. And that helps you ultimately too, not only the people that you're helping, but
Yeah, you feel productive, you feel good, and it gives you a reason to get up, take that shower, get
to
dressed,
live, to live. It
yes.
beats loneliness. It beats depression. I would say if there's anything that would be close to a silver bullet to beat loneliness and depression, is volunteering. It could be an hour a week. It could be an hour a day, whatever you want. And the great thing is,
Mhm.
no one will say no to you. Of course, they're going to take your help. I volunteered at a local hospital a while back, and I walked out of there every day. I thought I was getting paid $1 million. And I was like, oh, wait, damn it. I'm only volunteering. But it felt
Yeah,
so good. And the patients appreciated it. I appreciate it. It was such a win-win. Anyways,
it
volunteer.
is. I agree. I'm hands down with that.
Yeah, I mean, even this show that we're doing, like none of us are getting paid. I'm not getting paid. You're not getting paid. But it's a volunteering. It's a PSA, public service announcement of sorts. That I feel great when we're off the air. Oh, it was a great show, and we're definitely helping somebody, and we're also helping ourselves because we're
Yeah.
talking about our. It's a win-win-win-win-win. Speaking of which, the show is obviously free. We're on Patreon now, ladies and gentlemen. You can donate your if you love the content that we're making, and I know you do. I've become a slimy salesman, God. But yeah, no, we're on Patreon. So, folks, if you know what Patreon is, you can support the Wellness Week channel by whatever monetary means you feel comfortable with. If you don't feel comfortable, can't, that's fine too. But yeah, so the show's on Patreon. So yeah, that's it. But speaking of doing things for free, but so yeah. Anyways, but anything else before we sign off, Steph?
And I would say get outside.
Oh, that was another one of mine. I
outside.
wrote it down. Yeah, outside, walk, get out. Even if you just stand outside, get out.
Yes.
There's scientific proof, wherever you want to research it, getting out, breathing air, being out in Mother Nature, doesn't have to be the jungle, just getting out boosts the endorphins in the mind.
Backyard is perfect.
Whatever, right? Get out, smell the fresh air. You have to get out, especially in this time of COVID where everyone's locked down. Okay, that's fine, but you can get out in your back porch, in your front door, open the window, breathe. Yeah, 100% getting out.
Get outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting out, is so important. And if you can to get out with friends, even more important. It's such a especially with this whole 2 years of lockdown. I know for me, I always took for granted the micro relationships, going to the Starbucks and saying thank you, have a good day. Like, wow, it means so much. Being in traffic, I never thought I would miss traffic, because during the lockdown, there was nobody on the highways. I know, because I was working. I was like, this is so sad. And then once the traffic came back, I felt like I'm never going to complain about traffic again. Like, thank God I'm seeing.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, and I hope if that's one of the takeaways, right? The things that we took for granted before, now you look at it and you say, you know what? I'm not going to complain about this. This is a sign of life. This is a sign of normalcy. This is a sign of,
we've taken for granted so many things. And now I think also, though, we've also appreciated now so many things, just friendships and seeing humans and arguing and, being online for something, it's just, it's been a godsend and it's been a blessing and a curse, but there's been silver linings in this to see like, wow, we really, humans matter. Interactions matter, and so having face-to-face interactions, breaking bread together matters, so, but we're not out of the woods yet, because I think we've all been acclimated now to be indoors. I was just saying before, like, you don't even have to join a gym anymore. You have the Peloton and you can take gym classes right from your phone. That's good in a way, but it's also bad in a way. It's like we're not getting out. People aren't going out to bars and restaurants to socialize as much as they used to, because I'm on the phone. I don't know. Okay. It's so
right. You can just Uber it right to your door, whatever you want.
That's good and bad, and so I hope, I got to remind myself of that too. Like, hey man, Anthony, come on, let's go. Let's get out. Let's real quick, I tell a funny story. A couple of weeks ago, I took my dad out for Starbucks and we're at the Starbucks. We're talking. I haven't seen him in a while. I am literally 3 feet away from the register and nobody's online. I could have just like spoke my order to the barista who was 3 feet away from me. Instinctually, I ordered from my phone, but I was in the store. I was 3 feet away from the barista. My father's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ordering on the phone." He's like, "But you're right there, like, and there's nobody online." That's how sad it is. We're all used to I'll just order online, order on the app.
It's a click away.
And I'm like, I took away that moment that I could have had with just, oh, thank you, whatever. But that's how conditioned we are to like not interact with humans anymore. It's just easier, whatever, so I don't know.
But the great thing is you recognize that and you're talking about it, and you're gonna correct that.
Well, yeah, or manage it somehow. But yeah, it's so one of those things. But yeah, so that's what I did tonight. I haven't seen a friend in a while. My bro, we got to go out and eat. So we're gonna go to some like. Have you ever heard of the place Kava? It's like a salad bar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love that place.
I haven't been yet, but I've heard.
Oh, you need to go. The line is always out. Literally always out. They must be making zillions of dollars because it's a chain, nationwide chain. But it's all healthy salads and lean meats and so. Anyway, so we're gonna go there, and but yeah, it's like, what, if I don't, I got to reach out to him. I haven't. I'm not gonna wait for him. I'm gonna take the reins. Because.
And what a great thing for you to look forward to later.
Right. Simple little things, but they add up. They matter, And so, anyways, but yeah, that's it, everybody. Thank you. Don't forget, hit the subscribe, hit the notification. You don't have to hit the like, but you have to hit the subscribe notification. Share with a friend. Share with someone you love. Share with someone you hate. Just share this. Okay, man? So that's it. Wellness Week, DJ Anthony, Mommy Mondays, Stephanie, Resident Mommy. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Thank you for watching. And yeah, so we'll see. We got a great bunch of shows coming up for the rest of the week, too. So everybody watch. It's going to be amazing. All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everybody. Signing off in 3, 2, 1. Ciao.